welcome to another learning lesson right here on Street Biashara. I'm your host Brenda Nyamichaba, and as you can see, I am back on the streets of Nairobi. It is really hot, but that will not stop us from testing your general knowledge on business terms. And the term we're looking at today is revenue. Do you know what that means? Well, I'm about to find out.
Revenue kulingana na vile mimi naelewa inamaanisha income yenye inaingia kwa biashara ya mtu. Kitu chochote ambacho kinafaidisha biashara ya mtu kwa njia ya kifedha, hiyo inaitwa revenue kulingana na vile mimi naelewa.
Revenue means this is an income which is being generated through either businesses that business people do either within a particular city or a particular town.
Inamaanisha kama ni venye mtu anaweza pata pesa hivyo. Kitu kama hiyo.
I think the daily collections from things like taxes and what have you that the government takes, it can be either the local government, the national government. So that's my basic understanding about revenue.
Revenue, according to me, I think is the money that we have to use, or the money that comes into a country for its citizens to use.
Revenue means it's just a total collection of what a county or a government or any other person can get from a certain kind of a business.
Revenue stand on taxation, ushuru yani ile inalipo kwa serikali.
Now, with those responses of the term revenue, we're back in studio. We want to break it down for you so you actually get to understand what this term means. Now, the individual joining me is the one and only Job Kiage, who is an accounting and finance expert. Once again, Job, thank you for joining me on this episode of Street Biashara. We'll just jump right into the first question of today's episode. What is revenue?
Revenue is the total amount of income generated by the sales of goods and services related to the primary operations of a business. Also, we can say revenue is also known as the gross sales in the layman's terms. And it's often referred as to the top line. It's also referred to top line because it sits at the top of the income statement.
Okay. Can you give us a few examples of revenue?
So when we are talking about revenue, we are supposed to categorize this into two. We have the operational and non-operational revenues. So when we are talking about the operational revenues, we are talking about maybe the sales, we are talking about the service revenues, we are talking about the fee, and we are talking about the interest revenues. All those are examples of revenues.
Okay. And there's this time we come across when we, listen or hear about revenue, gross revenue. Is there a difference between gross revenue and revenue?
Yes, actually it's gross and net. It's not, it's gross revenue and net revenue. So when you're talking about, when you're talking about gross revenue, you're talking about the totality of all the income that has been generated by the sales of goods and services. And when you're talking about the net revenue, now you're taking into account of the costs of sales. So net revenue is the total revenue less the cost of sales.
Okay, I think you're taking me back to business school where we had to know the formula of gross revenue and net revenue. You've taken me back to class right there. Thank you so much for that insightful information, Job Kiage. We're just gonna end our episode right here. But remember, guys, you can catch me on more episodes of Street Biashara as we explore business terms.